What time is it? Game time!
It's gonna be special. They're gonna talk about this forever.
Welcome to American Football Stories.
Puts his head down, crashes and spins, and dives. Touchdown!
Bringing together the many perspectives that make up college football in the NFL.
Football is one of the greatest sports ever invented.
From players and coaches.
Believe, baby, believe, baby.
Hey, we playing to win right here, fellas.
To the front office and scouts.
The public is finally beginning to catch up, but they don't even know half the truth.
Us against the world, let's get it.
Your hosts, Robert Parker and Nick Knudsen, bring you American Football Stories.
Welcome to the American Football Stories podcast, brought to you by Coach Paint. Today is November 18th, 2020. I'm your host, Nick Knudsen, and with me is my co-host, Robert Parker. On today's episode, we'll look ahead to this weekend's games and give our gambling advice for select college football matchups in Week 11 of the NFL. All right, Rob, we're first going to start by acknowledging the ever-growing list of postponements. Texas A&M, number 5 Aggies, they're off this week. Postponed game with Ole Miss. Miami, Georgia Tech. I don't know if you saw this, Rob, but Miami, they had their whole schedule re-swizzled, and the Georgia Tech game was pushed back to the day of the ACC title game on December 19th. So probably not a great statement from the NCAA or from the ACC in terms of, hey, Miami, we think you have a chance at being in the ACC title game.
Yeah, clearly they don't think they have a chance if they're going to push the game back, around that date.
Yeah.
But once again, that's the type of season that we're having, a COVID year. And this is something that we have to deal with. I think it was inevitable,
Yep.
and that's what it is.
How many times have we seen your Charlotte 49ers on this list too? At Marshall, postponed. Texas at Kansas, postponed. Central Arkansas, Louisiana, canceled. Wake Forest, Duke, Houston, SMU, UL, Monroe, Louisiana Tech, UNLV, Colorado State, Navy, South Florida, USF, Arizona State at Colorado, UAB at UTEP, Ohio at Miami of Ohio, and Utah State at Wyoming. Whew. Just we're used to it though at this point. No surprises, right?
Yeah, no surprises. I think we're definitely used to it. This is probably going to be a weekly thing where games are getting canceled and postponed, but we still have some great matchups this week. So let's dive in.
All right. So yesterday, a little bit of action. Bowling Green fell to your Buffalo Bulls, who you like to win the MAC this year, 42-17. Kent State put up 69 as they defeated Akron 69-35. Northern Illinois on Wednesday night goes to Ball State. We're actually recording this. That game's probably close to being over, I would imagine, at this time. Toledo at Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan at Central Michigan. Did get to catch some action because we recorded another podcast tonight doing the Big Ten midseason report. Thursday, November 19th, Tulane at number 25, Tulsa, fresh off the upset over SMU. Friday, November 20th, Syracuse at Louisville, Purdue at Minnesota, UMass at FAU, New Mexico goes to Air Force. All right, so we're finally on to Saturday at noon. Big kickoff in Columbus, Ohio. The number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes are back at it this week, facing the number 9 Indiana Hoosiers. We talked a lot about that in our Big Ten midseason recap roundup with Jeremy Coleman. And Jeremy likes the Hoosiers at plus 20.5 here. Can't really blame them. Ohio State minus 1,100 on the money line, and the over-under for this game is at 66.5. Rob, give me your pick, and I'll give you mine.
Yeah, I really think Ohio State is going to win this one outright. But just like Jeremy Coleman said, Indiana's playing great ball. And if you're going to take Indiana, take them with the points. But I'm not confident in taking Indiana with the points, and I'm not confident in taking Ohio State with the points either. So one thing I am confident in is taking is the over in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. So give me the over.
Over at 66.5. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that Buckeye defense. So I'm gonna actually go with Jeremy on this and pick Indiana to cover. I think that's a big number. I think Indiana can run up and down the field a little bit, and maybe they'll lose by 2 touchdowns, but I think they hang within 20.5 on this one. Clemson goes to Florida State. 35.5 point favorite for the Tigers. Over under at 63. My Lord. This used to be the best game of the ACC. This was always the game of the year in the ACC. Trevor Lawrence is back this week. The number 4 Tigers are looking to bounce back from that loss to Notre Dame. Florida State is just looking to have a pulse entirely. They did step up against North Carolina. Any optimism for Florida State fans this week? Give them one thing to be optimistic about this week before you go ahead and shatter everything you're about to say. But say something nice before you go into the rest of it.
It's kind of hard to say something nice about this Florida State program. I tell you that, Nick. I mean, granted, they do have the tradition, but at the end of the day, it really seems like they're teetering, and they have been for a couple of years right now.
So
and
no North Carolina performance?
I think that was more so of North Carolina playing down to their competition. And go figure, North Carolina playing down to their competition. It sounds like we're talking about ACC basketball instead of ACC football. But, Florida State has just been playing really, really bad this whole year. And they've also been having some off-the-field stuff. I know James Blackman recently, opted out and kind of transferred. So Jordan Travis seems like he's going to be getting the start at the helm moving forward, which I think, he can get the job done, but he just doesn't have the pieces surrounding him.
All right, give me your pick.
Give me Clemson with the spread and Trevor Lawrence coming back.
I'm doing the same. When you talk about ACC basketball, you better talk about FSU being the defending champions of the ACC basketball. So FSU is a basketball school right now. So Clemson minus 35.5, and I think it's going to get ugly fast. This might be a Georgia Tech situation where we see 7-0 on that scoreboard at some point on Saturday in Tallahassee. So I think it's going to be an angry Clemson football team looking to make a statement. All right, Florida goes to Vanderbilt. Kyle Trask looking to cement that Heisman Trophy with another outstanding performance at Vandy. The Gators are 31.5-point favorites. The over-under in this one is at 68 even. I like the Gators in this one. I like the spread. I've been uncomfortable with the defense, but they proved me wrong against Arkansas last week. And certainly you're not going to get the same type of challenge on the offensive side of the football at Vanderbilt from what you got with Felipe Franks, who burned you. I mean, the Arkansas offense, they might not be awesome, but they're capable of burning you for a big play here and there. And they definitely did that in Gainesville last week. But Kyle Trask, just too good. Give me another 5 or 6 touchdowns on that arm, on that Heisman arm, and go Gators minus 31.5. I'm taking the Gators.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. When this line first came out, I was definitely kind of skeptical. But once again, we saw the performance that Kyle Trask had last week against an Arkansas team who's been playing fairly well on the defense side of the ball. But I think this Florida team on the offense side of the ball and the defense side of the ball rally around Kyle Trask and actually try to get him that Heisman. So I think they cover with ease, and I think Kyle Trask puts up another 5 to 6 touchdown performance. So give me Florida Gators with the spread in this one.
So we've seen Ohio State, Indiana, Clemson, Florida State, Florida, Vandy so far. 3 potential blowouts. Sorry, Indiana. 3 potential blowouts, though. If you're looking for a game, you might have to flip over at the noon hour, and you're impartial to any of the teams we just named. You might have to flip over and watch some Coastal Carolina play Appalachian State, because that might be the game of the hour, the 12 o'clock spot. Coastal Carolina, 5.5-point favorites here, minus 210 on the money line, and the over-under is at 48 in this one. Man, I need some glasses here. 48. Coastal Carolina, playing some good football, obviously, but Appalachian State, hey, they're the king of this region if you want to talk about up-and-coming football programs. And I know they've had a couple losses this year, but it's still Appy State. This would be a huge win for Coastal Carolina, a big statement win for their program. I don't know if I like them to cover, but I like the story this year. I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to pick Coastal Carolina, but I'm only going to go on the money line.
Yeah, you're right. This Coastal Carolina program has been really turning up this year. They actually got a big, high school commit from the quarterback position. But with that being said, Appalachian State has kind of been, Coastal Carolina is turning into that Cinderella story. Appalachian State, that was Appalachian State, a long, long time ago. And we know what they did to Michigan a while back ago. So I think give me Appalachian State with the points in this one.
Appalachian State plus 5.5. All right. Yep, not bad. They're the big bad wolf they're still the big bad wolf until proven otherwise. Stephen F. Austin at Memphis at noon. Let's finish the noon hour here. Illinois goes to Nebraska, Michigan State at Maryland, East Carolina at Temple, Georgia Southern at Army, LSU at Arkansas. That could be a fun one, going back and forth on that. Arkansas State at Texas State. Moving to 2 p.m., FIU at Western Kentucky, Rice at North Texas. 3 p.m., BYU, number 8, Cougars host North Alabama FCS opponent BYU. Kalani Sitake was talking about this week. Still looking to add another game. They won another game. And honestly, I think it could happen. These last-minute games we saw Cal and UCLA play in the Rose Bowl last week, I could see it happening. UTSA at Southern Miss, 3 p.m. 3:30, number 7 Cincinnati Bearcats, unbeaten, go down for a big-time test in the American Conference to Orlando in the bounce house. Not a lot of bouncing going on, not enough fans in there to do a whole bounce, but the UCF Knights are going to be a real big – this is where Cincinnati stumbled a couple of years ago. This is going to be a huge test here. Minus 6 points. The Bearcats are favored by 6. Minus 220 on the money line, and the over-under is at 65.5. Rob, I like Cincinnati, but I'm a little worried about this game.
Yeah, you have reasons to be worried about this game, Nick. And just like you said, it's probably going to be some blowouts in that noon hour, but this shouldn't be a blowout game. This should be a competitive back and forth game, and I'm definitely leaning towards the over on this. I think the only way that UCF stays in the game if they put up points, and we've known UCF to put up points, so I think they can do it, and it's definitely going to be a close game. This might be one of my upset picks of the week, but I'm not going to pick it. But I am going to go with the over in this one.
Yeah, and by the way, I read that wrong. It's the over-unders at 63.5. All right, not 66, 63.5. So you get a few points back there, Rob. I love that pick, but just for the sake of being different, I am going to take the Knights in the points. I'm not going to be so bold and pick the upset in this game, although I think it's very possible. My hesitation is the Cincinnati team just looks really solid. They've been drumming everyone. And UCF, for as good of an offense as they have, their defense has been struggling at times this year. And they had 10 guys opt out at the beginning of the season. If you lose 10 guys from your roster off the bat, I don't care who they are. That's tough losing 10 guys off your roster. So UCF, they've been feisty, but they've had some bad games too because they just can't stop people sometimes. And but they played right with Memphis. They're still tough out, and I think it'll be a little bit of a mental hurdle for Cincinnati too. So I think UCF hangs around +6. Give me the Knights to cover in that one. All right, Wisconsin, Northwestern, the game that's going to decide the Big Ten West at 3:30. The Badgers, 7.5-point favorites, -280 on the money line. Over-unders at 44 even. Rob, I like this Wisconsin defense. I'm sorry, this Northwestern defense. I also like the Wisconsin offense. Got to lean toward the Badgers here because they got a little more talent on the squad. But hey, Northwestern, this is going to be their 5th game. It's only the Badgers' 3rd time taking the field. I don't know how much that's going to make a difference. Certainly didn't matter last week in Ann Arbor. And I'm going to say Northwestern. I'm impressed that you're 4-0. The Iowa win on the road was nice, but a little questionable about the talent you're beating in the team. Certainly you're 4-0 in the Big Ten. That's pretty nice accomplishment, but I'm going to go with the Badgers in this one, and I'm going to just go Wisconsin on the money line because I'm not sure about the spread in Evanston.
Yeah, I know we've kind of been agreeing more than normal, but I'm right there with you. Wisconsin on the money line. I really think, the couple weeks off, with the COVID pandemic that kind of spread within the football program. I actually think that probably helped this Wisconsin program by putting everything in perspective and knowing that the game can be, ripped away from you just like that. So with that being said, I think they're going to go out. They're revved up. They're ready to play, and they go out and they get the win. So give me Wisconsin with the points in this one.
Oh, you're taking them with the points. All right.
I'm going to take them with the points.
-7.5. I'm just a little weary about that on the road, but good for you on that. All right. Let's finish the 3:30 hour. Middle Tennessee goes to Troy. Iowa at Penn State. Can the Nittany Lions get their first win? Ugh, tough year for James Franklin so far. San Diego State goes to Nevada. California goes to Oregon State at 3:30. And Kentucky goes to Alabama. Alabama is a 30-point favorite here. Over-under is at 58 in this one. Yes, 58, man. I need to, I copy paste these things in. Got to do it in bigger font next time. Memo to self. But yeah, 30-point favorite for the Tide. Over-unders at 58. Hey, man, 30 is a lot of points. I think with Trask and the Gators, the difference between Nick Saban is Dan Mullen pours it on. Kadarius Toney was throwing, he was doing throwback screens, like reverse passes last week when they were up big against Arkansas. Dan Mullen's going to keep the foot on the gas. Nick Saban doesn't always do the same. But I don't think Kentucky's got much of an offense to worry about here. So I think even if Saban and the Tide take their foot off the pedal, pretty confident Alabama's going to cover a 30-point spread here. How about you, Rob? I'm going to go with the Tide, minus 30.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. But once again, just like you said, Nick Saban tend to kind of, step off a little bit of the gas. But I think this week he might let his players play a little bit longer than normal since they kind of had a week off last week with the postponement of the game. So therefore, for that particular reason, I'm definitely going to go with Alabama in the spread. If not, I would definitely take the over in this one. But since Alabama didn't play last week, give me Alabama with the spread. They're going to get after it. I think they cover with ease.
I'll let you pick next time so everybody doesn't think you're copying me. All right. Kansas State goes to Iowa State at 4 p.m. Abilene Christian at Virginia. Virginia Tech at Pittsburgh. Georgia State at South Alabama. Let's jump to the 7 o'clock hour. The Tennessee Volunteers go into Auburn at 7 p.m. Tennessee not playing great football right now. They're 11-point underdogs to the Tigers. Auburn minus 420 on the money line, and the over-under is set at 58.5. I'm sorry, 50.5. Damn, gotta get that. Over-unders at 50.5 in this one. Hey, look, the one thing I would give you, this is when I say something nice thing to start. Jared Garantano, probably his best win of his career was at Auburn, right? He got that win at Auburn. Certainly nobody expected that a few years ago. But this Tennessee team, there's just something where they're just not clicking. I thought they played it. They put a really nice first half together at Arkansas, and they followed it up by getting crushed 24-0. What are you expecting here, Rob?
I'm expecting Tennessee to be somewhat competitive, but unfortunately, they're not going to be that competitive to come out with the win. But I'm not too confident in this Auburn team as well. But for the safe pick, I know it's a lot of juice on that squeeze, but I'm going to have to roll with the money line on this one.
Yeah, I was leaning that way too, but for the sake of being different, give me the Vols to cover. Give me the Vols to cover because the only thing I question is how good is that Auburn offense. So let's see how if Tennessee can stick around in this one. All right, San Jose State at Fresno State. 7 p.m. 7:30. Georgia Bulldogs take the field for the first time since they're beating at the hands of the Florida Gators. I'm going to say it one more time. Since they're beating at the hands of the Florida Gators. Sorry, got to have some fun with that. I haven't been able to say that in a few years. Hey, battle the Bulldogs here. Mississippi State, though, much worse shape than Georgia. Georgia's quarterback situation, not so pretty. Definitely a lot of wailing about it after the fact in Jacksonville. Dogs are 25-point favorites. Georgia Bulldogs are 25-point favorites in this one. Minus 2,500 on the money line. Over-under is at 44. Rob, I just don't see Mississippi State scoring much on this Georgia defense. If Georgia gets over 30, if they really get over 35, I think they cover that 25-point spread pretty easily. I think they're going to do it. I know I'm taking these big numbers here, and I'm getting nervous taking them, but I think we know this Mississippi State team. They're not going to score much.
So, yeah, Nick, you mentioned earlier the battle of the Bulldogs, Mississippi State and Georgia. I really think Georgia bounced back in this one, definitely with the thrashing that they suffered in the cocktail party against Florida a couple weeks ago. And plus they had a bye week. So I think they come back fresh. And I think they actually, cover on this one. They kind of work some stuff out. And so I like Georgia to cover in this one.
Are we going to see any of Stetson Bennett?
I think we are going to see some Stetson Bennett. We always talk about the Georgia quarterback room on this pod, and I think, rightfully so. You saw that within the game against Florida where they left a lot of throws on the field. So I know JT Daniels, is still kind of trying to get back in playing shape, but maybe, you see Carson Beck. Maybe they roll Carson Beck out there, the talented, 5-star coming out of high school. So we shall see. But moving forward, I think Georgia has to get this quarterback, position under wraps and kind of put someone out there for the long term. But right now, it just seems like it's trial by error, and the defense is kind of not holding up its end because it's on the field all the time. So I think that's what you're seeing in the last couple of games from Georgia.
Trial by errors. That's a good title for the working title for the 2020 Georgia season right now. All right, Oklahoma State goes to Oklahoma. We got Bedlam. Feels early in the season, but it's technically at the right time of year. This rivalry is like right around Thanksgiving every single year, 7:30. The Cowboys number 14, Sooners number 18 in the country, and the Sooners are still a 7-point favorite on the home field, minus 250 on the money line, and the over-unders at 59. Man, I've watched I haven't watched a ton of Oklahoma this year. I've watched a little bit of them at the beginning of the year, but once they lost that second game, they've kind of fallen off the radar nationally. Looking forward to catching this one Saturday night. Think this will be a great matchup. Over under 59. I just feel like that's an easy over for me right there.
Yeah, it really seems like it with both of these teams, being in the Big 12 and, the Big 12, one of the staples, not play defense. But with that being said, I think this is probably going to be one of the better matchups that we're going to see this weekend. So, but I'm ready to take Oklahoma State with the points. Give me Oklahoma State with the points in this one.
Okie State Pistol Pete +7 for Rob. Okay. That's not a bad pick right there. Number 21, Liberty goes to NC State to try to beat their third ACC opponent of the year, 7:30 p.m. Hey, look, Liberty, it's tough to enjoy. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for these small schools that you get a season of a lifetime like this. And by the way, Liberty, you have not waited a lifetime for this. Pretty new football program in the grand scheme of things, especially at the FBS level. But you made a good hire a few years ago in Hugh Freeze, and the rest of the season, that's all you're going to hear about. Is he going to go? Is he going to take this job? Is he going to take that job? He's probably going somewhere. But in the meantime, enjoy what you got while you have it. You're a 3.5 point underdog at NC State. NC State minus 165 on the money line, and the over-under is at 66.5. I really hate all of this. Like, there's nothing that jumps out to me on this. This would be a stay-away game entirely. But we like talking about it because it's an interesting matchup here. Hey, I'm going to ride with Liberty in this one. I'm going to go with the 3.5. If you give me 3.5, I'm going to count on the Flames sticking around. I think there's a decent shot this could be their first loss of the year. Rob, what do you think?
I think it will be. And with that, I'm going to take North Carolina State on the money line. I think North Carolina State actually played a very, very good game against, Miami. They actually should have won that game. And Miami is not the U that we know of, but it's definitely trending in the right direction. I think Manny Diaz is doing a great job with this program so far under his tenure. But just like I said, I think Liberty is a great Cinderella story. Hugh Freeze, it really seems like he kind of humbled himself and he's just really focused on coaching and not the outside stuff. I think he's definitely going to get another shot somewhere at a bigger program. But I do think this is going to be their first loss of the season. So give me NC State Wolfpack on the money line.
Let's go back to the SEC at 7:30 here. Missouri at South Carolina, fresh off Will Muschamp's firing. Mike Bobo will be taking over for the Gamecocks. But we're going to talk about another 7:30 kickoff. Michigan at Rutgers. I'm so fired up that we actually get to talk about Rutgers football this year without it being a total joke, because right now Michigan is a 10.5 point favorite, and I'm looking at that line going, are they watching the same Michigan and Rutgers that I've watched so far this season? Because I ain't seen that. All right. Michigan minus 1,380 on the money line, and the over-unders at 55 even. I'm going to take the Rutgers Scarlet Knights all day at plus 10.5. I might be getting a little too excited about this, by the way. Maybe Michigan shows up and just takes care of business the way that they should finally. But, man, this Rutgers team, they've been awfully competitive this year. They're making teams sweat. I watched that Illinois game last week, and they were up. They really should have won that game last week. They didn't finish down the stretch, and Illinois got a couple turnovers late to it was a difference in the game there. But I like this Rutgers team, and I think they're going to keep it close and they're going to keep it interesting against a Michigan squad that's probably not all that. They looked pretty disinterested last week. So do you see a Michigan bounce back this week or no, Rob?
I do see a Michigan bounce back. I think they might win this game outright. But any other year, this line would probably be anywhere from 21 to 26 points. And you're telling me you're giving me 10.5 points with Rutgers. That says a lot about Michigan, and it says a lot about Rutgers. So with that being said, give me Rutgers with the points. And Graciano is doing a heck of a job at Rutgers so far. And I really think he's going to have this program trending in the right direction like he's already had.
Arizona goes to Washington at 8 o'clock. USC number 20 Trojans at 10:30 go to Utah. Got some Pac-10 football late on the late night. I like it. We get that back. 10:30. USC is a 3-point favorite, minus 150 on the money line, and over under is at 57.5. And Rob, I'm with you. I'm not that excited about what I've seen from USC this year so far. I know you've been pretty tough on them, but they are 2-0. And Utah is starting a fellow by the name of Jake Bentley, who we watched play a lot at South Carolina over the years. Difference between South Carolina and Utah is you got Kyle Whittingham and that Utes defense backing you up. I don't think South Carolina had quite the same type of reputation, but Utah also lost a lot on defense. I think Utah's got a lot of question marks. It's fair for USC to be favored in this game, but I'm a little nervous about picking either side. And then the over/under doesn't really jump out at me either here, Rob. What are you thinking so far in this one?
Yeah, you're right. USC is definitely 2-0 in the season, but rightfully so. They could be 0-2 against the Arizona schools. 2 comeback wins against Arizona State week 1, and Arizona week 2 for the Pac-12 schedule. But yeah, I really don't like what I'm seeing in USC, but they do have talent. And I tell you what, I'm not going to take the points, but I am going to take USC on the money line in this one. They should win this one, but I'm not confident on them winning it, with the spread. So give me USC on the money line.
I'll take Utah on the points at +3. Just because I don't love what I've seen from USC either. And Utah, I know the fans aren't there, but they're always tough at home. Different elevation, too, that you're going up to for USC. Florida's going out there in a couple of years, by the way. Looking forward to that matchup. Gotta go visit Salt Lake at some point. UCLA at Oregon. Oregon's a 13.5 point favorite over their former head coach Chip Kelly, minus 500 on the money line. Over unders at 66.5. UCLA surprised last week with that win over Cal that wasn't even remotely competitive. Extra surprising considering they lost to Colorado the week before. I'm not sure what to think about Chip Kelly's tenure at UCLA so far. I think we got to hold off. I would say it's definitely been on the disappointing side. Would have thought they'd at least be playing like ranked football at this point of his tenure. I actually remember being disappointed that Florida didn't end up getting him. And looking back at it, things worked out for the better for the Gators on that. But hey, UCLA, good win against Cal last week. I'm not sure if that means anything going to Oregon. I'm going to roll with the Ducks here on the money line, though, because I think UCLA, I'm not sure what to expect from them. I think that win against Cal kind of showed that they might be able to show up. And so I'm going to just stick with Oregon on the money line, play it safe.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Oregon with the spread in this one. I think, it's definitely Chip Kelly facing this old team. And I think, Mario Cristobal is kind of want to make a statement and kind of show that this Oregon program is going in the right direction, even though it was going in the right direction under Chip Kelly. But I think it's more of a physical team now than it was under Chip Kelly. So with that being said, they're definitely going to get pressure on the quarterback, and they're definitely going to play physical on both sides of the ball. So give me Oregon with the points in this one.
All right. Finish off the college football day. Washington State goes to Stanford at 10:30. Boise State goes to Hawaii at 11. That could be a good one out in Hawaii. So plenty of college football all day for you on Saturday. We'll cut over to the pros right after this. Okay, welcome to the NFL side of the podcast here. We're going to start off with the bye weeks. Buffalo Bills, Chicago Bears, New York Football Giants, and the San Francisco 49ers are all off this week. started Thursday night. Excellent matchup Thursday night. We saw this game on Sunday night a few weeks ago. Arizona goes to Seattle. Seattle's 3-point favorite, minus 160 on the money line, and the over-under is at 57.5. This Cardinals team has been a ton of fun to watch. Seahawks have been a little bit on a downslide the last few weeks here, been not playing such great defense in particular. Arizona survived Buffalo. Arizona just keeps answering the bell on a lot of these games, but I'm not ready to fully commit to Arizona on a week-to-week basis here. I think they're a blast to watch. They're a lot of fun, but you're asking me to trust them to go up there. I know they did it last year. They went up there last year and got the win in Seattle, but let's just cool our jets a little bit. I'm going to ride with the Seahawks at home, giving up 3 points. So Seattle -3 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle on the money line in this one. I think Seattle bounces back, from their loss. I know Russell Wilson has kind of been playing some, down ball the last couple of games, but I think he picks it back up. And they might also have the opportunity to get Chris Carson back there in the backfield. So that's definitely going to bode well for them and that offense to kind of relieve some pressure for Russell Wilson if he, comes back healthy enough to play. But I think they kind of shape up on the defense side of the ball and, they pull out the win. So I really like Seattle to bounce back with the win. So Seattle on the money line for me.
Let's move on to Sunday here. You got Philly at Cleveland, 1 p.m. time slot. The Brownies are 3.5-point favorites, -180 on the money line. Over under is at 47.5. This could be called the Desperation Bowl. I mean, both of these teams need this very badly. The Eagles blew a game against the Giants last week where really they didn't blow it. They just got beat. But they needed that win for the NFC East. If the Eagles have any shot at the NFC East, they really got to win this game against Cleveland. On the other hand, Cleveland, all of a sudden, Vegas comes up. They're in the playoff hunt. Miami's in the playoff hunt. The Colts surpass the Titans. So Cleveland was looking real solid for a wild card. Not so solid anymore. Got to get this win at home if you're the Browns. I'm going to trust the Browns because I'm sick of the Eagles. I'm going to take the Browns on the money line, though. So that's about as little trust as I can give them. But I'm going to say they get the win in this one. Cleveland on the money line for me.
Yeah, you're right. It was pretty much a game that they should have won last week against the Giants for the Eagles. I think this is a must win for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think they come out and they play fairly well. I know it was reports out there that, Myles Garrett actually got sent home sick. I don't know if he actually tested positive for COVID related. I don't know if he actually tested positive or not. But if they don't have Myles Garrett this week, I like Carson Wentz to kind of bounce back. And, this is a must win for the Eagles. So I'm picking him to win.
Oh, you're trusting Philly.
I wouldn't say trusting it. I'm just trusting the fact that they need this one. They need this one on the record book. So and they should go out there and play fairly well. So give me Eagles on the money line.
In fairness, you already announced your intention to completely abandon the Browns bandwagon that you hopped on for 2 weeks. So you did announce that intention. So that's fair.
Yeah. I'm definitely off the Browns bandwagon that I did jump on early in the year, but I really think this is a big win for this is a big game for Carson Wentz and the Eagles, and I think they come out victorious at the end of the game.
Falcons are back at it this weekend, going to New Orleans. The Saints are still 5-point favorites despite missing Drew Brees, -230 on the money line, and over unders at 50.5. Big injury for Brees on Sunday. That rib cage with the deflated. What do they call it? Not the collapsed lung. Collapsed lung, not deflated. Collapsed lung. That's a tough injury to suffer at this point in the season. That the body weight down on him. You see the pain of playing quarterback. If you want to know how bad it hurts to play quarterback in the NFL without having to do it, just watch that big man fall on little Drew Brees. That did not look pretty, man. That being said, you got a very capable backup in Jameis Winston. So long as he throws it to the right color jerseys on Sunday, you got to think Sean Payton's going to coach him up and be pretty tough on him. And if he gets sick of him, he'll throw in Taysom Hill, who I think is capable of at least making the Saints offense move, whether it's in a traditional or non-traditional way. Saints at -5 might be a little too much for me, but I don't have a problem taking New Orleans on the money line in this one.
Yeah, just like you said, definitely a tough injury to see with Drew Brees. But once again, the one thing I didn't like was, a flag on that particular play. I didn't think it was roughing the passer. I thought, the defensive tackle kind of got him down, and he kind of went to the side. So he didn't put his full body weight on Drew Brees. So I thought that was the wrong call as, roughing the passer. But just like you said, they have a capable quarterback in Jameis Winston. He's been in this league for a while now. He's won at every level. So if he can kind of not try to go out and win the game, but kind of go out and manage the game, which is probably going to be pretty hard for Jameis Winston. He likes to throw the ball downfield, and we saw that with 30 interceptions and 30 touchdowns. But I think Sean Payton kind of pulled him back, and he said, hey, use one of the best players that's going to be on the field in Alvin Kamara, and he checks it down and let Alvin Kamara goes and does his thing. So I really don't like the Saints with the spread in this one, but give me the Saints on the money line. I'm confident in that pick.
Jameis, there's only one thing Jameis wants to do, Rob. He wants to eat those W's.
Well, I tell you this, Nick, if he wants to eat those W's, he's going to have to, look for Alvin Kamara early and often. He's going to hand left, hand right, screen pass, and check down. But if he starts to kind of get into the Jameis Winston mentality where he wants to chuck 50-yard, 40-yard bombs down, it might be a long day for the New Orleans Saints.
For anyone wondering if Jameis Winston's mentality has changed at all in a year of sitting behind Drew Brees in New Orleans, I think that's really all you needed to see was the little eating the W's thing. I'm sorry, because that's one you regret it, you leave it in the past, and you just don't touch that one again. And for him to be the one to bring it up, other people should bring that up to him. He should be the one bringing that up. But part of me is always glad when he does. I'm good with it.
That's Jameis for you. I think he's kind of out. He's kind of out there. So he's one of those guys that laugh at his own jokes. So you got to be wary of those people.
For sure. All right, Washington, the football team, -1 point. They're favorite over Cincinnati here. -125 on the money line. Over under is at 46.5. This Washington team, they battle. They're in every game. I'm not sure why they're favored over Cincinnati, though, because I think Burrow and the Bengals, I have a lot more confidence in the offense. I appreciate the fight Washington put up at Detroit last week and coming back in that game, but I think the Bengals are going to pour it on and keep it steady. This might be one of the Bengals' best performances of the year on that. So give me Cincinnati +1.
Yeah, this game is probably a toss-up for me, honestly. I know Alex Smith has been playing fairly well ever since he kind of, got in the starting quarterback position, got the job, with Kyle Allen going out with injury or whatever. But once again, I think Alex Smith can get this offense moving in the right direction, and we've seen what Joe Burrow has been doing all year. So I think I'm going to just lay off the money line and the spread, and I'm definitely going to take the over in this one.
Over at 46.5. All right, let's move on. Detroit, Carolina, the Panthers -3, -127 on the money line, and the over/under is at 49. Look, this Carolina team, we know they can fight. We saw this recently, a couple weeks ago against Kansas City, but the Bucks blew their doors off in the second half. I know it's the Bucks. I know the Bucks are one of the better teams in the NFL. I'm just having a tough time totally trusting Carolina right now. Even though they've been even though they've only won 3 games this year, they've been one of my favorite teams to watch. Detroit likes to score. They like to give up points in the second half. So I'm liking the over in this one. The over is at 49. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Detroit on the money line in this one. And, the Panthers would definitely be without the services of Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey. So I think that's going to hurt this Panthers offense. It's kind of been, they've been having a hiccup, the last couple of games, but rightfully so with that Tampa Bay defense. But just like you said, I think DeAndre Swift is actually coming into his own as a rookie running back. And we know Matthew Stafford can, sling the ball around the yard. And Marvin Jones has been actually one of the, pretty much the complete wide receivers in the NFL that no one really talks about. I think they get the job done. And so give me, Lions on the money line in this one.
Jaguars head back to Duval to face the Steelers. Pittsburgh comes in, shoot for 10-0 record. They're also 10-point favorites, minus 500 on the money line. Over unders at 46.5. This Jags team they've been given, they gave the Packers a hard time last week. They played right with the Texans a couple weeks ago. Certainly, young quarterback Jake Luton's looked okay so far. The Steelers played pretty terrible at Dallas a couple weeks ago, so I think it's going to scare some folks off the 10-point spread in this one. I've watched enough of the Jaguars defense to not be scared of that spread this year, though. And I'm going to go with the Steelers at minus 10 to cover.
Yeah, I think I'm one of those people who's scared off this line. I think, the Steelers might come out and play down to their competition, kind of how they did with the Dallas Cowboys. And this Jacksonville team definitely have pieces on both sides of the ball. I know it's not gelling as, we would expect, but it's all young talent.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I think this game goes over. I think, Big Ben Roethlisberger just definitely put his name in the MVP conversation the last couple of games. So I think he continues that on and he puts up a lot of points. But Jacksonville actually going to put up some touchdowns as well. So I like the over in this one, Nick.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that pick too. Tennessee at Baltimore, 1 p.m. time slot. Tennessee, all of a sudden, you're second place in your division. You've lost 3 straight, and now you're 6-point underdogs on the road to the Ravens. Minus 275 on the money line for Baltimore. Over unders at 49. Rob, this Ravens team, I've said it all year. I think they're okay. I think Tennessee's been in a funk. I think they snap out of it on Sunday. I'm going to take the Titans at +6 on this one. I just think they're a better football team than Baltimore. It's really as simple as that. I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to get back to playing Titans football. And I think that defense is going to slow down Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'm definitely going opposite with you on this one. I think Baltimore still remembers Derrick Henry running over them in the playoffs last year. And so I think, they're going to come out with a little bit extra motivation to say, hey, we're not going to let that happen. And I think, the Ravens, they had a, great win. And they're picking up steam. I know they lost to the Patriots, which was a horrible loss, if you ask me. But, those weather conditions out there, that was horrible. And if J.K. Dobbins kind of come up with that catch towards the end, that game can probably be different result. But I think, Baltimore goes out and they get another they get back in the win column and they get the win. So Baltimore on the money line.
Baltimore on the money line. All right, New England. Source of that upset over Baltimore on Sunday night. I was pretty shocked with that. Goes to Houston. Belichick faces former defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel. Texans are they're probably, are they the best 2-win team in football? I mean, like they're feisty with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. They can definitely play. The Patriots are 2-point favorites, minus 130 on the over. Minus 130 on the money line. Over unders at 49 in this one. I don't like this game. I don't want to pick it. I don't want anything to do with it. -2, whatever. That could go either way. I think the Patriots are going to have winning. Safe pick might be the Patriots on the money line in this one. But I think the defenses are going to – I think it's going to be a defensive battle in this one. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. We saw that with the Texans in Cleveland last week, although it wasn't totally by choice. The weather was terrible up there. But give me the under at 49. I like the under in this one.
Yeah, I think, the Patriots continue to trend upward and they continue to rack off wins. So I really like the Patriots in this one. So I'm going to take the Patriots on the money line.
New England on the money line. All right. Miami. Our favorite team to watch on this podcast probably this year, no? Have they become our favorite team to watch?
One of the favorites. Definitely one of the favorites.
Yeah, I've been loving watching the Dolphins this year. Miami at Denver. 4:05 p.m. The Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites. Minus 180 on the money line. The over-unders at 45. And the Dolphins are rolling. They got 5 points in a row. And wouldn't it be just like the Dolphins to lose this game, though? To just kind of just crush all hope in their fans. They've been doing it for some time. I think you're better than that, though, Miami. I'm going to show a little faith, and I'm going to pick Miami to cover in this one. Don't think it's a bold pick on paper because I think they certainly are a better team than the Broncos, but Denver gets hot sometimes. They just have those little stretches where they play well, and all of a sudden they rise up and they're competitive. But any frustrations with Drew Lock so far since he's been back?
Kind of, but once again, I think you kind of take this Drew Lock sample size with a grain of salt. He has been out with injury. He is playing in a shortened off season due to COVID. No
probably
preseason.
A little banged up still, right?
Still banged up. And this time of the year it starts to get cold. So when it gets cold, the quarterback is definitely going to have some struggles with throwing the ball in the cold weather. Hopefully you want your quarterback to prepare really well. But I think this Miami Dolphins defense is just playing tremendous right now. And I think, Tua can go out there and just manage the game and just kind of leave it over to the Dolphins defense. So give me Dolphins on the money line in this one.
Miami on the money line. Yeah, I know Tua has been the storyline, but that defense is something else this year down in Miami. That's a team you don't want to see trying to make a playoff run. All right, the Jets at the Chargers, 405. Chargers are 9-point favorites in this one, minus 450 on the money line, and the over-under is at 47. Look, if I want to just be simple here, I'd just take the Chargers on the money line. But I'm going to say what the hell. I think the Jets are going to get a win one of these weeks, and I'm going to pick the Jets to cover in this one because they played okay. They almost had that win against the Patriots on Monday Night Football, and I don't think they're totally dead. I think there's some motivation to not go over. And you're going to go out. You're up in Jersey right now. It's cold up there, right? It was in the 20s this morning.
Yeah.
So these guys are going to go get out to L.A., beautiful weather, play on the nice turf. Like, maybe they'll be in a good mood. Maybe the Jets will be in a good mood on Sunday. Maybe they're like, screw it. We're 0-9. We're terrible anyway. Let's just unleash it. Like, if I'm Gase, I am just calling every play in the book like that you haven't seen. I'm throwing trick plays. I'm having fun. So maybe this Jets team, they had a week off to kind of cool off a little bit. And maybe they come out playing loose. Herbert makes a couple of mistakes. I like the Jets to cover. Give me the Jets at +9.
Yeah, I really think, the Jets had that game wrapped up against the Patriots. They should have won that game. That was a game that, unfortunately, for the Patriots, they should have lost. But, that's just the way it goes. But traveling across, country on the West Coast, just like you said, the weather is definitely breaking over here. It's getting chilly. It's getting cold. It's getting nippy outside. And you're getting some sunshine over there in LA area. So I tell you this, it's going to be hard for the Jets to get a win in the next couple of weeks. I don't see them getting a win this week against the Chargers, but I do like the Chargers to cover in this one. So give me the Chargers on the spread. Oh,
you're building Jets up a bunch there, and then you go flip it and pick the Chargers on me here.
I have to tear them down. They're 0-9.
God, they've been torn down enough. They get torn down every time they touch the field. All right, let's go to Green Bay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I won't tear them down if they can get a win. I would definitely. They got to get a win, and we won't tear them down.
If
anymore.
the Jets win, you have to show up on Sunday with some Jets gear on the podcast. You got some Jets gear from back in the day, I assume.
I can probably take some Jets gear out from the bottom of the closet somewhere here.
Circa like Mark Sanchez or something. You probably had a Jets shirt somewhere along the line.
Probably got some Curtis Martin gear.
Curtis Martin, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go, baby. Did I ever tell you the story that I was at a hibachi restaurant in Bergen County one time, and we were randomly sat at the table with Fireman Ed?
Fireman Ed.
I don't know if it was like his mother-in-law or something. She's like, tell him who you are. Like, we didn't recognize him. She's like, Ma, stop. Like, he's just like, leave it alone. It was like his mother or something. He was so embarrassed by it, but my uncle was prodding her on it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's this Fireman Ed." And I looked at him, I'm like, "Oh, that does look like him." So we talked to him afterward.
I tell you what, the Jets could use some fans at the game right now to kind of boost up their morale moving forward.
He said too many people were trying to fight him. Too many people were trying to fight him all the time. He's like, I had to stop.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be fighting them now. They will kind of be, right there with them because, especially if the Jets can get a win, they would definitely love that.
He'd probably get some tomatoes or something, whatever they throw in cartoons at people. He stands up to do the cheer. They're like, shut up. Shut up. All right, Green Bay at Indianapolis, 425. The Packers. Dude, the Packers are underdogs in this game. Does that line stink? -1.5. Colts -125 on the money line. Over under 51.5. Now, I've clearly underestimated Indianapolis. I did not think they had a chance going down to Tennessee last Thursday night, and they whooped up on the Titans. I liked the Colts early in the season, kind of fell off on them because I thought they were just eating up cupcakes, and everyone was raving about their awesome defense while they were beating nobody. And you know what? You're also the one win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, but somehow, some way, this Colts team, they're leading the AFC South, and now all of a sudden people think they're better than the Packers in Vegas. I'm going to take Green Bay and the points in this one. I'm not even going to think twice about it.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you on this one. When it comes down to a matchup like this, you kind of want to go with the better quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is definitely the better quarterback. Phillip Rivers is over the hill. That defense is keeping them in there in that running game. Nyheim Hines is doing fairly well. And Jonathan Taylor started off pretty strong. He had a couple fumble issues here and there. So he's kind of been riding the bench a little bit. But I really like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. That connection with Aaron Jones in the backfield is kind of unstoppable if you ask me. So give me Green Bay with the points in this one.
All right, so we're both taking Green Bay +1.5. That just seems like it's too easy on there. All right, Dallas at the suddenly red-hot Minnesota Vikings, 4:25 p.m. Dallas is a 7-point dog in this one. Minnesota -330 on the money line. Over-unders at 48.5. I think this is such a no-brainer to pick Minnesota, despite Dallas showing a little spunk against Pittsburgh. Minnesota up -7. As long as that man Dalvin Cook is healthy, I'm cool with it. And it's not in prime time, so you can have a little confidence in the Vikings.
Skull Nation is definitely in the building. Great win for Kirk Cousins. He got the monkey off his back for getting his, first win on Monday Night Football. He was 0-9 before that. Did you get that stat, Nick?
Oh yeah. 1-9 now.
Now he's 1-9, so therefore he can breathe a little bit. But you're right, with Dalvin Cook in the backfield, the Minnesota Vikings always have a shot because he's one of the better running backs in this league. And it really seemed like Justin Jefferson, the rookie from LSU, was breaking out. And you pair him with Adam Thielen, and that offense just hitting on all cylinders. I know the Bears defense kind of, slipped that Vikings offense up a little bit, but, the Bears can't score enough points. So therefore they lose the game. And that's what it came down to. But yeah, the Vikings are rolling and they're playing good defense. So I like the Vikings in this one. So give me the Vikings on the money line.
Minnesota on the money line. Not enough confidence to cover, huh?
Just like you said, this Cowboys team definitely played, the Steelers team, pretty close. Andy Dalton is coming back, and, he should have a little bit more confidence within the offense with him having the time off.
All right. One last thing I want to ask you. Why is it that the Jets get a lecture for being 0-9, potentially 1-9, and you say you got to tear him down, but Kirk Cousins is 1-9 on Monday Night Football, and you're about to throw the man a party?
I think if the Jets did want Kirk Cousins when he was in Washington, but they didn't want to pay him that amount of money, and my Vikings decided to. So I kind of have to stick with my guy right there in that one.
Did you hear what the Jaguar fans are trying to do to the Vikings?
I didn't hear that one. No.
Okay, so in Ngakoue, apparently there's a term in the trade condition from Minnesota to Jacksonville that if Ngakoue makes a Pro Bowl, the draft pick goes up for the Jags. So there's all organized fan interaction on Twitter. It's being promoted on all the Jaguars fan sites right now to vote for Ngakoue for the Pro Bowl. So they're trying to get that. The fans are trying to get that draft pick up. I might have put a vote in for Ngakoue for the Pro Bowl.
I'm pretty sure you did. I know you're a Jacksonville homer, and I'm pretty sure you yelled Duval when you were doing it. So I know that was you. So one vote for you.
I might have personally contributed to kind of stealing some draft stock from the Minnesota Vikings, and I feel great about it. I have no regrets about my decision. So, all right.
Hey, you guys need all the draft stock you guys can get down there.
Damn right. Kansas City at Las Vegas, 8:20 p.m. I'm pumped to watch this game. It's going to be a great game on Sunday night. We might have to reshuffle our podcast so we can actually fully enjoy this one. KC at -7. Current money line is at -334 for Kansas City, and over under is set at 54. This was an absolute shootout a few weeks ago. I'm not sure why that over under, that seems kind of low to me. I'm going to take the over at 54, not think twice.
Yeah, I wasn't too, impressed with this game being in the Sunday night time slot. But, ever since the reports came out about the Raiders doing a victory lap and donuts in the parking lot after the win, now it seems a little bit more interesting to me. But with that being said, I think Kansas City is going to come out, and they're actually going to come out and with the vengeance. So give me Kansas City with the points in this one.
Wow. So you're not impressed with the run the Raiders have been on in the last month? They've been a good football team.
They are, and they're playing good on both sides of the ball. But once again, you don't go in and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and then expect to kind of beat them again. So I really like the Chiefs to bounce back against the Raiders in this one and kind of whip them pretty good.
Wow. I'm hoping for a dogfight for the sake of entertainment. All right, the Los Angeles Rams comes to Tampa. Hey, look, this was a game when pre-COVID, when you saw the NFL schedule early on, you're kind of like, well, I guess the NFL schedule came out during COVID, but you're hoping that, hey, maybe we could go to some games in the fall. I was really hoping to go. Tampa's got this game, and they got the Chiefs in a few weeks, and those are the two games I had circled. I'm going to go to those games. Not happening this year. All the secondary market tickets are like $600 for Tampa this year. Not good. Glad I didn't splurge on that Saints game a couple of weeks ago on Sunday night. But the Rams come into this one coming off a nice win against the Seahawks. Still 4-point underdogs, though. Tampa Bay, -210 on the money line, and the over-under is set at 48.5. Rob, before I make my pick, I just need to know which Buccaneers team is going to show up and which Rams team is going to show up. These are the two teams that probably have the widest gap from floor to ceiling, right? These two teams could get absolutely obliterated on any given week and then look like Super Bowl contenders on any given week.
Yeah, I put more stock into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think we're going to get the game this Monday night that we thought we were going to get on Sunday night when it was the Saints in Tampa Bay. So I think this game is going to be a little bit more competitive. However, I do think Tampa comes out with the win. And I'm going to take Tampa on the money line in this one.
I'm gonna take the Rams at +4 because I'm a little shook by that Monday night performance. Still, nice bounce back by the Bucs last week, but the Panthers aren't nearly as good. And I got to see that offensive line hang in there against Aaron Donald. I'm a little concerned about that offensive front. So we saw them do some good work against Seattle last week. Jalen Ramsey shut down DK Metcalf. I definitely think this Rams team. Sold my Rams stock. Not a fan, but you're giving me 4 points. I'll take the points in this one. A little shook from that New Orleans game still. Tampa, you got something to prove. All right, Rob, you got any final thoughts or you want to jump to the Did You Know?
No final thoughts. Let's dive into the Did You Know?
Did you know? Question of the episode brought to you by Coach Paint. How many consecutive wins do the Ohio State Buckeyes have over the Indiana Hoosiers in football? How many consecutive wins does Ohio State have over Indiana? And we're going to first do a quick ad read. So we'll be right back. Cut back in 3, 2, 1, action. American Football Stories is brought to you by Coach Paint. Coach Paint is a great tool that allows us to add graphics to player highlight clips similar to the graphics you see on TV. Coach Paint offers the ability to clearly illustrate video while increasing retention of information in a shorter amount of time. Up your game with Coach Paint today. Cut. All right, back in 3, 2, 1, action. Rob, for our Did You Know question brought to you by Coach Paint, I want to know how many consecutive wins does Ohio State have over Indiana?
Wow. I really should phone a friend on this one. Our special guest, Jeremy Coleman, the Indiana insider. But, off the top of my head, wow. I don't remember Indiana beating
a good, clean number.
Yeah, I don't remember Indiana beating Ohio State in my time on this planet. And if it did happen, it's probably when I was little. So I'm just off the top of my head, I'm gonna say 25.
Boom! It's 25. 25 consecutive wins over the Hoosiers. Not been a good series. Indiana gives them a hard time once in a while, though. It's not always a total beatdown. There's times where Indiana makes them sweat, but whenever they do, as an Ohio State fan, you sit there and you go, "Why? Why did that happen?" But
I don't think Indiana makes them sweat this week. I think Ohio State puts their foot on the gas and they run out of they run Indiana out of gas and kind of take over for the rest of the game and come out victorious in that one.
I think the biggest thing you have to be worried about if you're a Buckeye fan is how does the defense hold up early? Because if Indiana comes out and scores a touchdown, Fields has to punt on their first possession, and then Indiana goes right down. If Indiana starts off hot early and Ohio State's playing chase all day, that's going to be a way that Indiana can maybe force a couple mistakes. That would be interesting predicament to put the Buckeyes in. And even for the playoff committee to see Ohio State work a little bit. But yeah, if you're an Indiana fan, I definitely wouldn't. That's probably a lesser likely scenario. But if you see that developing early, that's probably an optimistic sign that, hey, we got a chance today. Because the bad news would be you give the Buckeyes the ball, they march right down and score, and you're down 7-0. If Indiana's playing catch up all day, that's going to get ugly. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that one. But yeah, before we wrap this one up, Nick, getting back to the NFL, give the audience your game of the week for this week.
Well, I was pretty fired up about the Raiders and Chiefs till you took a dump all over it. But I think there's a few good ones out there, like the ones that I'm really interested in seeing overall. The Desperation Bowl. Philly and Cleveland, even though it might not be the best football, I think that's a very important game this week. Tennessee and Baltimore is absolutely big. I love watching these Dolphins. That defense is awesome at Denver. But I'd say, honestly, I'd say the Rams and the Bucs is the easy call. But I'm going to go with the Sunday night game and go the Chiefs and the Raiders, because if the Raiders win that game, that's a race in the AFC West if the Raiders win.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna go with Seattle and Arizona Thursday night game.
That's another good one.
Coming off a short week. We know how Arizona kind of won that game on not the Hail Mary, but the Hail Murray. The Hail Murray. So, and then Russell Wilson to kind of have the game that he had. So, and then kind of how that game ended the first time that those two teams played. So, I think for me, that's going to be the game of the week, in my opinion.
That's a good pick, too. Good Thursday night football. That's exciting. It's good to have a good Thursday night game.
Yeah, very rare that we get a good Thursday night game. Well, I take that back. We might not have a good Thursday night game, but at least it's a good Thursday night matchup.
That's good. All right, you want to read us out?
Yeah. So, once again, we appreciate the audience for listening to this episode of American Football Stories. You guys can find us on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, and please subscribe and rate us 5 stars. Follow us on Twitter at American FB Stories, and check out our website, AmericanFootballStories.com. Once again, my name is Robert Parker III, and my co-host is Nick Newsom. Thank you, and tune into next week's episode.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
I hope there's Bigfoot. I don't think there is. The reason I don't think there is because we found bones of dinosaurs and everything else, but we haven't found bones that I've heard of Bigfoot.
Very upset. We should have been in a ball game with fast field goal. The coach had sent him in. We shouldn't have sent him in. That's a dang coaching mistake. The kids are playing their tail off, and the coaches are screwing it up.
We just got to stop that little inside trap. You know, the option didn't hurt us much. We played pretty hard. We just got to stop that inside thing. Offensively, we kind of sputtered around, got the ball in the end zone. You know, defensively, we got to get out off the field on that 2-minute drive.
Key injuries to your offensive line. What do you do in the second half?
Oh, we're just going to play. We just got to keep playing.
Thank you, Coach.
He has a magnificent personality, I'll tell you.
We receive a lot of mail during the course of the season, and a lot of it's good mail, a lot of it's bad. And I would say that most of it is good, though, isn't it, Bill? Yeah, I think so. I'd say 95 to 98% of the mail we get is always good. But the one question that keeps coming up, where Woody Hayes' name is involved, they say you're a man of no mercy, and yet, frankly, I don't care much what they think.